It's 7:03. Today is Thursday, August 24th. This is the Mendon Conservation Commission. It's Carl Hummel, I'm chair. I'll introduce everybody else.
Sweet, Peter Coffin.
My mic is working this way back. I can usually. When we've had trouble with the audio, so make sure you're reasonably close to a microphone as you can possibly. So that's my back. Expect this will be a relatively short meeting. I've had a conversation with, about the One Uxbridge Road, we're going to schedule a sidewalk sometime in the next 3 weeks, and we'll have to pull the follow presentation.
Okay.
So, now is we are expecting. I'm going to mute you because I'm on your speaker. If you could put headphones on or some other way, adjust your audio. Okay, at 7:30, I'm expecting Gregory Lambert to phone in. He's retained an engineer. And OTAP. The other action that we're expecting, we'll have a discussion about is review 58 Milford Street. So between now and then, I'll just go through the correspondence and other. Correspondence from Greg Buckingham. Hey, there was activity. No additional action consulting on it, so we don't, as a conservation commission, work we did within this spring, will continue to work forward. This week, we got an email from Police Chief Percy about town photo IDs yesterday. If you weren't able to go yesterday or this morning, would be the update. We'll get a little photo ID badge. Conservation Commission.
They have it with you?
No, they took the pictures. It's photo day for the student IDs yesterday and this morning. So I got a little card from allowed me to cut to the front of the line. It's amazing what teenagers are wearing these days.
Yeah.
Well, I got one, is it still effective? It's like
Well, you can get a new one.
20 years, yeah, okay.
It's nice.
Could I send a photo? There's no way I'm gonna make it during the day. And then this.
We'll see when their makeup day is. I forwarded on. And finally, there was a meeting, notice 29 Bowery Street, there was an appeal. Finding no commercial use, that'll be scheduled in September, again, not relevant to the conservation commission.
No, but was that the guy with composting, making soil or something?
Some kind of landscape.
Because that's taped off for some reason, whether.
We were doing something on the street.
Is that right?
Talking about him, we further up, they were doing work. Finding if he was using his residential stage commercial. So that argument is.
That's not.
Over. Lake Task Force, okay, Bob, what's the progress? Move the mic over.
We had a little bit of movement with that. We, three of us ended up being at the select board meeting. And we decided that this needs to move forward. So Joyce was at the meeting and so was the highway surveyor. And Dan is involved now, Dan's in fire. So our first meeting is scheduled for the 19th September.
What time is it, an evening meeting or 7 o'clock?
And who's going to be chair?
Not yet.
That'll be the first order of business then.
Well, you got three people, great people right there, and yourself, that's four, that is. You don't need much more than that, but someone from the Lake Nipmuc Association.
I'm hoping. That's why.
We're gonna have probably 2 people anyways on it. If we can bring 2 people in from the Lake Association, that would be great.
And what I also want to do is get up, when you have your, Lake Association meeting, I want to try and go over some of the key points on that. Great Pond,
Yes, I got all that information and I'm working on it. Working on a pamphlet to give out to new homeowners when they come into the neighborhood and, we'll probably send out a newsletter, probably the beginning of September, and we wanted to add some of the highlights to that in there, also lake safety with the
Right.
rocks and all
there's a
that.
lot of good information in the charts.
Right, right,
And a lot of it's not prohibitive to landowners on the lake. So
okay,
as long as they know what they have to ask permission for and what they have the right to, they just need to ask permission for.
right,
And
absolutely.
who do they ask permission of?
Well, if they have a right, why are they asking permission?
Well, because it's not, it needs to be run through the conservation just for the notice of intent, but it's not something that is denied. It's just something to give us a heads up that they are intending on working within the buffer zone. So they need a notice of intent, but it's not like they're gonna be stopped.
So it sounds like one of those things where notification of the Conservation Commission is sufficient. There's no other action Concom needs to take. Once we notify.
Depending on the size and scope of the project.
That's exactly what needs to get spelled out. Yeah.
And that's why I'm hoping that we can work together with the Lake Association and come up with a, like when you were saying, a newsletter or a bulletin or something that gives guidance.
Right, and everybody on the lake gets one of those newsletters that live on the lake, so we all get it.
And we can even put them out at the town meeting in November.
I'm not against, or anybody isn't against beautifying their property when they buy it, because everybody wants it a certain way, but, just,
But it needs to be done in a way.
right, absolutely. So, we'll see what happens going forward.
Okay, next item. We have received 4, not 3, conservation restriction reports prepared by the Comet Land Trust. I spoke with the person who sent the letter, Mike Penko, who will be coming to our September 14th meeting. Each of the reports notes certain things that should be dealt with. And so my hope is at that time, able to come up with a plan as to what we're going to do about following up on their report.
Do you have all those, reports electronically?
Yes, they're all here.
Would you mind sending
Okay,
them to me so I can be prepared for the 14th?
Muddy Brook, Menujan Farm, Meadowbrook. Is the cover.
former Pearson Farm, Meadowbrook Uplands, Muddy Brook South, and Muddy Brook North. And,
Not yours.
and the PDF files have shown. Okay,
Is that in SharePoint?
this is on the town team site, so yes, it's in OneDrive, which is sort of like show. Concom vacancy. Have an agreement from Mike Maroli that they will be discussing this at the September 6th select board meeting. The select board had a meeting this week, but that was on for emergency things. So I expect that. Everyone on the committee is invited to go to this session. There will also be 2 candidates on this team.
What about, administrative assistant?
That's next agenda item.
Oh.
We have a request from the town treasurer that I meet with her staff members in town. Fortunately, she was in training all last week and she's on vacation this week, so we had 2 weeks, of nothing. I expect that on Monday morning, I will have to go mailbox saying, so when are you available to meet? Get that done as quickly as possible.
So the treasurer is looking to meet with you to discuss
Well,
finances of the position.
there are 2 possible roles you can fill. You can fill the clerk, page, possible one. And we may have a conversation where we hire a clerk for 10 hours a week. We hire a page for 4 hours a week or some combination, or we may go. Both. So,
I don't believe we need an agent. I think we need, first of all, a clerk.
yes,
And I think 10 hours wouldn't be enough.
oh, I will be saying that. I spend 10
Well,
hours.
again, as a committee, you can say, well,
The committee feels.
Yes. There are no new bills that came in finances, but I am thinking of something to do about spending money. The other piece of paper you have in front of you is the classes that the Massachusetts Association of Conservation Commissioners is having this fall, in October and November, September, October, November. They are going to have their full set of fundamentals classes.
On Zoom.
Most of them are on Zoom, yes. They are going to be having one class at their MACC conference on October 28th. Plan review and site visit procedures, but all of the other classes are going to be virtual. And when we have that new member appointed, I'm going to recommend that they take classes. I want to take a bunch of these as refreshers, and I expect we will want to take some. One of the goals is to ensure that we have at least one person going to all of them. One of the things that I will be saying, we have a training budget of $1,000. Taking all of these classes will be about $600 each person. So what I'm going to say when I go to treasurer is, we haven't had a treasurer for 3 months. And we take that salary, move it out of staff into the training budget, because we've been filling the role of the clerk, and we actually got training how we're supposed to do this specifically. So,
there's a fee.
yes, there's a,
Significant fee.
there is a $65 fee for the classes. That is a discount because we are all conservation commissioners.
Who's running this?
Massachusetts Association of Conservation
And
Commissioners.
because, all right, so they used to be free to the members. Now
Now they're up to $65.
and these are Zoom meetings?
All except the one that is listed as happening at the MACC conference.
So
Yes.
you have to pay $65 to
Listed somewhere.
tag in.
Yep. If you have already taken the class past, they have a record of it, you can have a refresher class.
Someone.
But I haven't taken the classes in the past, but I'm interested in catching up. In addition to the numbers at the top, I can bring that. There are 2 classes in particular that I'm going to take myself, or expect that will be taking, or a whole lot of people taking it. There's 2 classes happening on conservation restriction baselines and how to write a baseline. Conservation restrictions, and then a second one on how to monitor conservation restrictions. And so my goal is that we can now get much more of a background and in-depth knowledge of the work that Medicom is doing on the path with conservation restrictions, so that we'll be better positioned to start monitoring ourselves, of course, working more closely. There are some date conflicts. For example, the CR baseline class is happening at the same time as the when the select board is expecting to appoint a new member, but we can work that out.
Sure.
I may go to the CR baseline class, and I've already given my input to the select board letter. I wrote saying, here are two candidates. There's the strength of the first one, there's the strength of the second.
Your intent though is that there be coverage from somebody, so you want to schedule it or ask people, because
What
multiple
I-
people can go, right? But
Yeah.
at least one.
What I would ask is, and then the other one, there is one that's happening on a Thursday in November. And we may want
Both
to,
are zones considering the science, that's the only new one. Or, yeah,
Thursday.
Eleven, 123 is. 10/28 is.
And 12. Yes, October 12th is one of the meetings that we would be meeting.
Well,
That's actually
it's a Thursday.
That's actually the overview class, so what I probably, that's the one that everybody should, especially.
Yeah.
Members should take. So what I probably asked us to do is reschedule that meeting the second Tuesday in October to different. We can figure that out when we see how much.
Can we, how's this for a thought? The times are 6 PM to 8:30 PM.
We could move it to afterwards, yeah.
Why don't we do it here? Pay one fee and put it on that.
Hey, smart, Mike.
Well,
Smart.
one of the things is they offer a certificate. You take all of the fundamental.
I don't care about the certificate.
Oh, but I do care. I want to get the little-
So let's put it in your name,
That may be something that we do.
because then if you wanted to, we could have the meeting afterwards if we had to, right? To
Yep.
pick up on.
I will see about, I will reach out to them and see what they think about that.
And there's also something to be said together, that's kind of like camaraderie, team building.
Why don't we ask an IT guy if we can, how to do that?
Well,
How we can join a Zoom from this number here, pay one fee, and we'll just make it a point. Like we can fill the auditorium.
well, after I take a class or two and get used to our smiling faces, then we can make that special request for you.
They may frown on that because it's full money out there.
Yeah.
Yep. But, you know.
But it's worth it.
It's worth asking. Okay, we've gone past 7:15, so I will do that particular matter. Public hearing for One Exit Road, DEP number 218-0845, notice of intent by Guerrero and Hanlon for expansion of existing parking lot. We have a request from the applicant to schedule a sidewalk, either today, Friday, or. And that way, that the site is in flag, that way, when they come before us in the second week of September, they will be able to have the paperwork reviewed. I think any questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
Yes.
all right, I just for the record, I'm Robert Duffy Gary and Howland. I'm here for 1 Uxbridge Road.
Yep.
And trying to schedule a site walk. The area has been staked out per your request. Just here tonight to try to get that finalized.
So. Peter, Mike, when you're.
I'm available tomorrow, so Saturday might be better, but I don't know, Mike, yours.
I'm not around. I don't know, not sure when I can make it. We can't make, definitely can't make it during the weekend. I'm gone this weekend and next week. Next weekend is usually the weekend.
Okay, Mike, would you be comfortable going out and taking a look? At shot?
Oh, yeah,
Okay,
I don't need
okay, okay.
anybody to hold my hand and watch the
Okay,
site.
so Peter, what time Saturday would you want to be interested in going?
Saturday. Earlier is better than later, get it done.
So 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock.
Mine's earlier than 10, but who else is gone besides me and Bob?
I would be able,
You would or would not?
I would try and make it at 9 o'clock, yes.
All right, popped up. How about 9 o'clock Saturday?
This Saturday morning, the 25th, 26th.
This Saturday, yes.
All right, I will not be there. Kendra Samato, she will be in attendance at 9 o'clock on site.
9 o'clock this Saturday.
Yep, 2 days, yep, 2 days.
Oh, that'd be fine. We'll be accommodating.
Okay,
And
thank
just for the record, yeah, I
Yeah.
just want to mention that we close the site plan and the special permit on the site have been approved by the planning board at Monday's meeting. We're in the appeal period, so we hopefully will get, get that signed off and get the decision recorded. Just so
Were there
you're
any-
aware of that part of it.
Okay, were there any modifications to the documentation you submitted us previously, or did they approve the same documents that we have?
The same documents.
Okay, great.
The only concern the chairperson of the chairman of the planning board had was regarding signage. He just wanted to make sure the owners complied with the town's sign bylaw. That's all.
And Graves Engineering signed off on where the cutout was going into the overflow.
Correct. There is a letter that Graves sent Monday that we have. It's available. We can get it to you if you like. It just basically, there was one item Graves had a concern with, the yellow control. We modified that. Their letter on Monday was basically they were all good with the project as it was presented.
What did they?
The wetlands flagging. What, excuse me?
Sorry, what did they want? Did they want a bigger pipe? Is that, I thought there was some mention of an undersized pipe that they wanted a bigger pipe added.
It wasn't the pipe in the structure. We had an opening and Jeff Walsh said he didn't feel was adequate for the volume on the 100-year storm. So we went from, I believe it was a 6-inch penetration in the control structure. And now we got a 12-inch deep by 2-foot long slot proposed. So that should be sufficient for the flows that are projected on the 100-year storm.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. So I will entertain a motion to continue on Oxford Road until
So moved.
Second?
any discussion. All in favor?
Bob, aye.
Aye.
Mike Mandelia, aye.
Okay, passes unanimously. It will be continued until September 14th. Thank you for zooming in.
All right, no problem. Thank you very much for your time. You do have a good day. And again, the Kendra Samara will be out there Saturday morning, 9 o'clock on site.
The last action, agenda item 12, building permits. There's one for 29 Thornton Street about a house demolition. It's not jurisdictional. Building permit for 26 Lawson Farm Drive came through. That is proved because Fred Lambert came in and gave him an order of conditions based on that presentation. And then permit for a new ground pool in one kept out, also not jurisdictional. Great Lambert is going to be showing up a little bit. Discussion on tap. The other item that's open is 58 Milford, so I guess we'll go with that.
Photos. Thank you.
So you both of you come on up to the microphones. So I wasn't able to make it site talk last week. I understand this would hold. reflect on the observations.
Sorry, I wasn't there.
I attended the site walk. Excuse me. With Tim. Katie. I just wanted to take a minute and review this.
Was the work pretty much done? Are you continuing? Are you done?
Okay. Everything that I said, anything to do with that pipe, never materialized because the pipe stayed in good shape and I didn't put underground power, water or electric in this.
And all this, are you going to be getting grass seed dams? Moving?
It's only driveway. It's just a 30-foot right away that, and that's all that was there.
Was there a discussion about the depression? The abutters noted about filling it in?
The little sink that, the little puddle that forms, when I grade the driveway, final grade, then that'll get taken care of.
Expect the final grade.
Not anytime soon. I'll come back for another NOI. Unless you want me to leave this open for another year or so. I'm letting the ground settle and trying to get everything squared away with any movement in any of the work that was done on site. And then from there, then I can level all the ground, grade all the ground to make a better job.
The existing order of conditions was good for 3 years. You could renew it if you wanted. Close this out and open a new one, or
Why bother? Why?
because that would, well, if you close it out and open a new one, that's more filing fees.
I mean, I'm fine with that, is leaving it open. I want to make sure that I'm doing this the right way, making sure that if something needs to get done, it gets addressed so that it doesn't get lost in the cracks or look like I'm doing something that I shouldn't be doing.
And that's why I would suggest keeping it open, because then that allows us to keep an eye on it and to ask them to do something about it if worse comes to worse, something needs to be done.
I'm okay, I'm perfectly fine.
As long as you're not planning on selling it, right? Because it says it's, yeah, so.
I'm not going anywhere. There's much blood into this thing.
So one of the things we could do would be add something to the existing so that before we close it, we ask you to finish grading that. That's reasonable. What was your observation?
Okay, I was there with another member. And my observations were, Mr. Sweet is correct. There was no disturbance of the pipe that went under the right of way. So I don't think he should be digging it up to replace it. Number one, because there is no damage to it. But the material used to go over that section from the puddle, you know where the puddle was?
Yeah.
Further down, till you get maybe 10 or 15 feet past the pipe. The material there, Bob, is a clay, more clay. I would think that you should, because there's no silt fence up on the side, although there is high grass growing on the upstream side of the driveway. That should be stabilized with a load of crushed stone. That'll stiffen that up, in my opinion. That'll bind that right up like concrete. And
Some dense grade.
dense grade's too thin, I think 3/4 inch stone.
Okay. Get a truckload of 3/4 stone laid in there and just spread it out.
Spread it out. I would suggest you dress up the ends. The berm, make a nice berm. Again, there was no silt fence put up.
There was, I took it down recently,
But
because
that material in heavy rain will silt out.
Clay will, but the stone will help keep it.
The stone, once it's gets settled in there, will make it like concrete, so. It's my suggestion. While you're at it, I would, before you close out the order of condition on the upstream side of the driveway, I would take some time and build a little better stone head wall there. Because God forbid if we get a 200-year storm, that driveway's gonna get washed out.
Is there an existing head wall?
There's a jamble of rocks that have been jambled for quite some time. It's not like he went through there and kicked them around. He actually did a nice job walking over it. There's no track marks on either side. But that's my suggestion, you know, to
Okay.
straighten out that, some type of head wall.
In terms of the puddle and mud, there's an easement with the abutter to have access on it. Is the puddle interfering with their ability to have their east?
It shouldn't be, but that'll be taken care of when the stone gets put in
Okay, so when do you expect to put something?
tomorrow.
Oh, okay, so that's.
I'll call Kimball tomorrow. I'll get it all spread out.
Okay, so this, thought you were talking about putting stone in further up.
That was the second point, enhancing the head wall of the
So
upstream.
that'll be bringing some larger stones in to make a head wall with stones. And that'll go aside of the clay pipe that's there. Wanted to build that area up a little bit and get the ground more flat all the way over to.
It could be as simple as 6-inch minus, meaning the ledge is 6 inches round. And putting it on there,
So the riprap.
Small, smaller.
6-inch minus would do it.
Yeah, I can get a dump truck, one-ton dump truck full of riprap. It should be plenty.
Okay, so when do you expect to complete the whole project and come back? Ask us to give you a certificate of compliance. If you're saying that might be a year or two?
Yeah, I'm gonna say, what I'm trying to do is if Route 16 gets redone, I'd like to see if I can get some of the reground from Route 16's project in order to put it down on the driveway. But now I found out that they're not doing that until 2025. So, and that's a 3-year project. It's gonna go to 2028.
Okay, well,
So, I mean, I don't need pavement down, but it just makes my car.
well, the OOC, the order of conditions is good for 3 years and we regularly. if it's
When was it issued?
Last November, last.
Yeah,
So you got 2 years anyway.
Yeah.
So as long as you guys are good with, like I said, I'm just trying to make sure that I do the right thing and everybody is happy with the order of progression on what I'm trying to get done.
Well, we're clarifying now as to what is being done and a slight shift that no, we didn't have to replace that pipe. And are you okay with it?
I'm fine.
In terms of the siltation that we're concerned about if there's a 200-year storm, if you do notice after a heavy rain event that there's stuff washing down from his area, then you should notify him, copy us as well. If you take a picture, then we can make sure that that gets remediated as quickly as possible.
I just want to ask one question.
Yeah.
You want to use that stuff?
The reground that's there, how old is that? Because
It's only 2 years old. I can't move. You're welcome.
I should be able to pull it apart.
You're welcome to use.
Okay, if you don't mind.
I actually,
I want to make sure that it's okay.
it's been okay ever since we had the project.
Well, I'm glad to hear that things are okay.
Oh, yeah, it's fine.
Okay, 'cause I was worried.
No,
No.
that looks good.
Use it all if you want. I actually, when we started this project,
I appreciate it.
No, no, serious. I hope we can start working together and get things done.
That was the conversation that we had. Meetings, you know, get past this. And
Yeah.
start being better to each other.
I'm moving that stuff for you. It's gonna take me a lot longer than we thought.
There's nothing fun about what you're doing. But thank you.
Just trying my best.
And that's where we need to be, is working together instead of against each other. So,
That's all I want.
Okay,
so I'm gonna take care of the driveway.
Stone on the driveway and then some bigger rocks on the head.
And then, I mean, the idea of signing up on a post, certificate of
Wait
compliance.
until you're
That's
done.
probably not gonna be anytime in the near
You
future.
got 3 years.
so the applicant. Paperwork, the applicant is withdrawing their request for a certificate of compliance. Back to, more welcome. Okay, any further discussion?
Sounds good. Thank you for your.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Back to the other side of the table.
Yep.
Yeah. And see Gregory Lambert here, saying that he might be available.
Yeah, now, was he going to present an as-built? Is that?
Yes, we did have.
Did he send us anything or?
Yes. And. You want to come up to the screen and take a look?
So that's what he generated. Huh?
It's what his engineer did.
Can you turn sideways or maybe does it rotate?
Um, Yes,
That's, that,
there we go.
so this is where he's built the stone wall off his property, I guess.
Well,
That's what the plan says. I'm
Yeah.
just reading what the plan says.
yeah, so this was produced by Guerrero.
Is this the one that was supposed to be 40 feet on the other person?
Something like that.
Good evening.
This, I just put up your document on the wall.
Good, because I don't know how to do that.
Are we having, one of your engineers join us?
No.
So if you want to come up and point and explain what we're looking at here. Well, you can stand over here. I'm going to stay close now.
Obviously, this is property. It's my garage, it's my home. Here's your as-built wall. This is my neighbor. If you're looking at my house to the left, you're looking at the lake to the right. And opposite,
Okay, so this is the existing Old Taft Ave Road.
yes,
Heading across, okay. That's interesting. You have a road going through the middle of your property. And so this is the wall that got put in.
yes.
Have you resolved this conversation that you were having with your neighbor about whether it's on his property or not?
It's just gentlemen.
Oh, okay, so
I
not,
took care of this, yes.
okay, so, and he's not here tonight to discuss this. So the question, and I'll have to ask Bob, is what is the Great Pond rules for having a retaining wall, and is that in compliance or not?
From what I read is that you have the right to repair walls, to work on your property, to use beach nourishment. You have to come in front of the board, you have to ask, you have to have a plan, so that way there, we know what's going on.
Okay. So I believe that the state, that this is an area where we had an hour or two of an agent's time, they would be able to come and say specifically whether it's compliance or not.
Well, I don't think there's any difference from a great pond to a wetland. Right, or if it's a normal small pond, the same rules apply unless you're going out of some other.
Well, the great ones have a little bit more,
People,
scrutiny.
Protection.
yeah, and people have the ability to put things in a great pond, but they don't in a small pond or wetlands. For example, I couldn't go build a dock without getting approval and whatnot, whereas people are allowed to put temporary structures on their beaches. That's my understanding.
You're saying that if you're on a great pond and you want to put up a dock, you don't need to apply for anything?
You need
Yeah,
to
you
get
do.
a notification.
Yes.
That's one of the things I want to talk to the association is find out whether or not Mendon has
We
a
did at one
permitting
point.
process.
I think it fell through the cracks, but at one point you had to go through and get a permit, put your dock in, and then,
Who would have controlled that? Or who would have, Board of Health? Or
I'm not sure, it was probably,
we're talking pre-Concom.
It's ever since 1984. And before that, it's permitted up until 84 from before that. And
Right.
1965 is when I believe it was now.
and then they tried to bring it back again, but I don't know what happened with it all, because the Lake Association's been off and on anyways, so.
That's what we're gonna try to do, is we're gonna try to get
Right,
a
it's
consistent criteria.
correct.
Just on this as-built, because my eyes are bad.
So what does that say? Something like a 6-inch,
It's the pipe you were talking about last time we were here.
right? And I can't read what that says. But usually it identifies what it's made out of,
You
and
might get one up here.
there you go. And shift it a little bit. 4-inch PVC with an invert at 400. And do we know what? We don't have an elevation on the lake. Are
That's the
these
other-
1-foot contours? 1, 2. So you got 4 and gravel, 50-foot stone steps. Did you build these stone steps or were the stone steps there?
They're granite. They're blocks of granite. No, they're.
You put them in along with that. All right. And do we know, so that's where that pipe comes out and then it's got like a hood on it, right? It looks like it's almost like the hood goes down into the water. What I'll have to go down and look. What this plan is telling me is that pipe doesn't quite. Well, I have a hard time reading what these three are. This says Nipmuc Pond. So these three are a little different than these. Well, this is the road. Right, so that's the street. So what do these three lines symbolize?
Water level, I don't, not an engineer.
Yeah, usually it's topography, and usually that would be the water level, and that would be 1 foot high,
That's
medium,
what
and high, because that's,
That's what I'm trying to find out through either Dan Byer or somebody else who has more knowledge with the lake is one of the criteria on the Great Pond is knowing what the high, medium, or water.
well, there you go. So this, if that is the case, high, medium, and low, that he doesn't own, people have free ability to
Correct.
walk along there.
But it's 8 feet, I believe, from the water's edge. That you can walk around the whole lake and anybody can use your property.
From the water's edge, 8 feet.
Yes, I think it's 8 feet.
It should be on the median water level.
Well, that was back in the day when they used to water their animals at home. That's why they have that around the whole lake. I don't know,
But
it's probably,
the mean watermark is controlled by the outfall.
Yes, or high and low water, drought or excessive rain.
Controlled by the outfall. You put a stop log in the outfall. Raise the water, take the stop log out. You move.
Well, it's controlled now by that structure. Before that structure, it was still a great pond and it might not have been quite as great as it is today, it might have been a little smaller. But now often it's enhanced with beavers, so
Controlled now by the beavers, yes.
something that. I'm not sure how you determine the level.
It's a variant,
I guess,
But there,
which, that's why again, I'm not trying to make it a fast rule. It's a very, but where she says 8 feet from wherever the water licks the shore.
This year, that's a very good too, that's a good rule of thumb.
So
So
Is the
how
wall
far would you
finished?
say the wall is from the wall, from the water? 2 feet?
You know what, I never measured it, but. Steps,
Just scale, which kind of bothers me.
is the wall finished? Is the wall finished?
Yes, it is.
Everything.
It is.
What nice?
Yes, I was more concerned with sand around it, that there was no erosion control. And that stuff's gonna move or settle in, or,
Well, all the beaches.
well, and I'm not sure we want people putting beaches or. Everyone has a right to beach, I don't agree.
According to the rules, right, you're allowed to refurnish
You
and
have the
right.
opportunity to do beach nourishment, but it
That's
is.
All right, beach nourishment assumes that there's a beach to nourish. It doesn't mean making a new beach. And the wall repair implies that there was an existing wall, you're allowed to repair it. It doesn't imply that you have the right for a new wall, if that's the
And you
language.
can't stick an excavator in there and dig it out so that you need boating area.
And the problem I have
specifically
is
say.
I don't think houses should have the right
Right.
to run a pipe into the lake. I don't care if it's the clean water from stopping his basement from flooding. There's a 4-inch PVC pipe that goes under the road, probably into your house, into the basement. You tell me. You don't know.
no,
Where's it come from?
it comes from underneath my house, which was there.
Right.
Was it there when you bought the house?
It was there, but, well. The end of the pipe was somewhere along here.
Yeah.
So when they dropped the house, dug and found the pipe.
Yeah.
Instead of it being here, because I said, this is eventually I'm gonna put the beach in.
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, we'll be able to extend it out. It's all going to the lake anyway. It's just going to the middle of the property.
There's an aerial photograph.
Yes, from 2021.
So what's this black line?
Telephone pole?
Shadow.
Shadow. These are all shadows. It looks like there's some structure. What would this structure have been? Looks like access down to the lake to me, like, I don't know. But
So again. What are we trying to do here?
The Lake Association wants guideline and an understanding.
So this particular scenario is a catalyst to get some kind of guidelines for the lake.
Right.
Right. I'm not interested. You guys have your own thoughts, but I'm not interested. If the wall looks good and the beach looks nice, hey, great. But
And
like I said, you caused a catalyst to spark some,
Yeah, you can make sure that-
But,
But you want the person, we're trying to make it so that you are.
okay,
Mike, are you saying that you're okay
Agreed.
with a homeowner building a wall in the buffer zone of a wetland without coming to us or asking permission?
on this particular case here, yeah, I certainly am.
What's the difference between this case and any other house along Lake Nipmuc?
Oh, I think any house along a lake like that should have,
the right
should
to
have,
build a wall.
should have the right to take care of their property if it reaches the water.
To take care of the property. I don't see by enhancing it with creating a beach and building a wall.
Well, that's your opinion. I have my opinion.
Yes, I understand.
And I would appreciate it if you didn't make it sound like you're right and I'm wrong. We both have, this is all opinion.
Well, work done within 50 feet of the wetland requires notification with the Concom, correct?
Does,
Oh, and it didn't happen this time.
So like I said, what are we trying to deal with here?
So when we went to DEP in the circuit room, she recommended, we had two options. One is to say, take it out now, or the other was to go the nicer route and have an as-built done, have a public meeting, and then if we think that it's okay, to ask him to file a notice of intent to do it the right way, so that neighbors and anybody can say they like it or they don't like it.
Okay, so that's the route I want to go. I am not in favor of making them remove it. So like I said, this is what I'm asking. What are we trying to do here? So let's get on with it. Let the guy know that he's gonna file a notice of intent. Not data back and forth, you put a wall in, this,
So
not
can I
right.
talk a minute?
Yeah.
Okay. If he did, it's beautiful, no big deal, but the person that built that wall should have known to come before the conservation committee
I
before they
agree.
started digging an excavator in the lake.
I agree.
And then you've got another guy on 35 Taft Avenue that you have put through, jumped through hoops to get things done the right way. And this isn't okay. This isn't okay.
Well, like I said, what are we trying to do here?
But I,
We have two options told to us by the DEP.
Right, so we can go option one to take him up, that it sounds like there's a consensus of the committee. That if he wants to keep the wall, he's got to file a notice of intent.
what I'd like to see is us actually have spine and stop finding people who do things just because they can. And they know they're not gonna get in trouble.
That's fine. I want to deal with this issue right now. That's an issue, like I said, this particular issue has been a catalyst for the Lake Association, for this committee to work together and do exactly what you want to do. So let's get on with it and let's tell this guy, file a notice of intent
That's
and
right.
go on. He can go on with his life and we can go on. Gives us a little bit more teeth in policing.
Right, but that's our policing. That's why he has the drawing here. So now we have
Exactly.
the notice of intent.
So could you ask your engineer to put the elevation of the lake and to say what those lines are? Yes.
I think I can make a summary of this one. Let me express it in terms of a motion. I'll entertain the motion that we request that Gregory Lambert submit an NOI for 10 Old Taft Avenue us to backfill the paperwork on the work that's already been done. And the purpose would be to allow abutters and other interested people in the town to participate in the conversation as to whether we should agree that the wall should be there.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'm second.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so that passes unanimously. What that means is that you should now go to Guerrero and Hamlin and they can walk you through what the process would be of filing a notice of intent. They do that all the time with us. It'll involve a filing fee. They'll walk through how to get an STP filing number. And just like you heard, we have public hearings. At some point, we'll have a meeting at 7:15 where you and someone from Guerrero and Hamlin. Then we'd ask that the existing as-built have additional elevation things put in like he was discussing. And then after your engineer is completed, people will have questions on the committee. We'll entertain questions from the audience. You've also heard that several people on the committee are in favor of the wall staying. We're just asking you to backfill the paper. And we're going to see how that process plays out. So any further discussion on what we want Gregory Lambert to originally have? Okay, so thank you for coming. I'll see you in another couple of weeks. Do you want to further a conversation on what we're expecting people to do on the lake in the future? I'm hoping that we will now be able to send send a message to other people on the lake that we are going to be holding accountable to do otherwise, not just to work. Is that?
I'm okay with that. All I say is that everybody should have to follow a rule,
Yes.
not just one person, not, everybody should follow the rules.
I agree, and like I said, this particular incident is the catalyst
Right, I
to push
agree.
that forward.
Okay.
I agree.
You read what number 207 is, what the class is, that I want people to take number 207.
Fundamentals of wetlands enforcement.
Exactly. That's, people on the committee, will hopefully they can have a clerk by then. So that's where we will learn how to do the process, getting someone to do what is necessary to enforce the wetlands act and great upon that.
So, and then, in other words, so if we go forward with this, people aren't gonna be able to dig the lake out like they have in the past?
No, we're going to be telling them, you have to ask permission first. You have to file the paperwork with Mass DEP, you have to work with an engineer to get an NOI submitted and then go through the whole review process. People will be able to watch what Mr. Lambert is doing, and how he's having someone from G&H come in and make a presentation. If so you can sort of, if you see somebody starting to do excavation work, you can notify us or send an email or a phone call. You can always.
So I think
We're now.
I think it's going back to when we started talking about this, is Bob and the Lake Association want to put together some type of,
That's what we're working on right now.
and I would say even, go forward and try to put forth a bylaw,
We already have it.
not about that. Do we? If we do,
If we.
let's see
If
it.
we wrote a bylaw, it would be stricter than the existing Wetlands Protection Act and the Great Pond Act, so that's something I would expect.
The bylaw could state that you have to follow the Great Pond.
Town council will say, why are you doing that? You don't need a bylaw to say follow the state law.
How do you know that? Did you ask the lawyer that?
But
I'm serious. Did you ask the lawyer that? No.
a general,
We have bylaws left and right in this town. So I think you gotta work towards that, because what it does is it'll bring everybody's attention. When you take it to the town meeting for the bylaw, people are gonna pay attention, especially the people around the lake. They're gonna go, hey, what's going on? They're talking about a bylaw around the lake. People will wake up and not only attend the meeting, but they'll, mark my words, they'll get involved, and that's exactly what I believe you want.
Want that, because it's not only him. It's
Oh, no, I bet.
all around the lake, and the people that have put up walls and done that are people that are either on the boards or close proximity to the boards, and they just do whatever they want.
I would think with our existing bylaw that no one should be using an excavator or a machine to dig dirt within 100 foot of a wetland without asking if it's or 200 from a river or so that's.
Something that needs to be clarified.
Right, so if you start a campaign,
I'm gonna.
like you guys were talking about earlier, a pamphlet, beef up the bylaw or add an addendum to the bylaw and get everybody's attention, because right now, everybody's kind of forgotten about it.
We're not about, not having people beautify their property, because the property on the lake is going for megabucks right now, but what if we got somebody in there that wasn't so careful, and then you're contaminating a lake, or, there's a lot of things that could go wrong with it. That's
Well, hypotheticals, we can spend all night with.
Right.
Let me just clarify. You're absolutely right. If this gentleman did a lousy job and was a hack, I would not be saying, leave the wall.
I don't even know him, he's my
No,
neighbor.
but that's what I'm saying.
No.
Each case is gonna be individual. You get somebody does something there, hey, come in. This is what you gotta do.
Like you said, this sets a precedence, and people are gonna have to start paying attention to what they're doing.
Exactly. So you gotta bring,
I get it,
you gotta get people's attention.
right?
And there's no better way than a town meeting bringing a bylaw
Well,
to
fine,
the floor.
Yeah.
well, fine, you start finding people that are doing this stuff the wrong way, and then they start saying, hey.
Well, I believe you should give a warning. All of a sudden, a fine's gonna appear. Yeah, I'm all for fining, but you know what? Work into it. All of a sudden, you're gonna go, huh, you did this, you're fined.
Mr. Lambert has been very responsive when I've reached out to. him.
Exactly. And like I said, because of that, that's why I'm saying, all right, we have two options.
And for that, I.
Rip it out
would be every
or
case.
fine.
Yeah, if somebody's obstinate, then,
Rip it out.
but if they're willing to work with us, since it's not.
There you go.
One thing.
So,
Everybody makes mistake.
so my message to members of the Lake Nipmuc Association neighbors is, if you see a backhoe, go over and ask, have you submitted the paperwork with the Concom? And when they say no, tell them, you better stop, because the Concom is going to make more noises about it. At the very least, you'll have to go through as much pain as Greg here has. You can ask him how difficult this has been.
Oh, I'm sure it has been difficult, but his workers should have known better than to dig in the lake.
I agree, there should be general knowledge among contractors working the mending.
Yeah.
What the mending bylaws require.
Right? I get it.
All right, any further discussion of this matter? Now come to items not anticipated for the hours of events. I don't have any, anybody else?
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Yep,
Have a great day, and a good weekend.
yep.
Yeah.
Join us.
It's almost, yeah.
Okay, agenda item 14, adjourn meeting. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Oh, I'm making a motion to adjourn.
Yeah,
No.
all in favor? Okay, passes unanimously. Thanks for coming.
I am so glad you've worked out with your neighbor. That's good to see. Thank you for your patience.